Take a sledgehammer to a drywall corner in an older home, and the air fills with microscopic dust. To the naked eye, it looks like the routine mess of a standard demolition. But if you haven't tested the walls first, those floating particles might be carrying toxic, friable fibers directly into your lungs. Is full of highly sought-after mid-century homes. But the builders who constructed these architectural staples relied heavily on materials that were entirely legal at the time, yet are now known to be highly toxic. Because of this, British Columbia law draws a hard line at the year 1990. If your home was built before December 31st of that year, you are legally required to have a qualified professional conduct a hazardous materials survey before you even apply for a renovation permit. Homeowners sometimes try to bypass this survey to save a week of time or a few $100s, but discovering hazardous materials mid-demolition will derail your entire project schedule, inflate your budget with emergency abatement costs, and put everyone in the house at risk. For decades, asbestos was prized in the construction industry. Manufacturers blended it into over 3,000 different building products because its fibers offered incredible tensile strength and near-perfect thermal resistance. Inside the home, those fibers are most commonly hidden in 3 places: the attic, where thousands of homes still have loose vermiculite insulation, the kitchen or basement, glued beneath vinyl floor tiles, and covering almost every interior wall mixed into the drywall joint compound. The exterior of the house carries its own risks. Many older homes feature highly durable corrugated panels or shingles made from transite, a cement mixture heavily reinforced with asbestos. This chart breaks down the expected residential asbestos abatement costs for 2026. As you can see, the price scales wildly, from around $1,100 for minor, easily accessible removals, up to over $6,000 for highly friable materials that easily crumble into dust. Paint applied before 1978 presents another airborne hazard: lead. Restoring vintage windows or sanding down old kitchen cabinets requires EPA-certified lead-safe practices, specifically using HEPA-filtered sanders and thoroughly wetting the surfaces to prevent heavy lead dust from coating the floor. If left perfectly intact, a vintage vinyl floor or lead-painted wall is generally harmless. It is the mechanical destruction of a renovation, the sanding, scraping, and smashing, that transforms these static materials into active respiratory threats. Moving behind the walls, older homes often hide obsolete electrical systems. Knob and tube wiring, characterized by its white porcelain knobs and ceramic tubes, lacks grounding entirely. It simply cannot handle the load of modern appliances, creating a severe fire hazard. Because of this risk, most insurance carriers in BC will refuse to offer standard coverage if they find an active knob and tube system. Buyers are typically handed a strict 12 to 24-month window to completely replace the wiring, which can cost tens of thousands of dollars. Even homes built a bit later, between 1965 and 1975, carry secondary electrical risks. During that decade, builders used aluminum wiring as a cheaper alternative to copper. Over time, aluminum is prone to severe overheating at the connection terminals. Then there is the biological reality of building in a damp climate. If moisture penetrates the home's defenses, mold begins colonizing damp, porous structural materials like this wooden beam in as little as 48 hours. Many renovators accidentally trigger this mold growth by misunderstanding the envelope logic of older construction. Pre-1990 homes were designed to breathe through natural air leaks. If you seal those leaks with modern, airtight windows, but fail to install mechanical ventilation, you trap daily moisture inside and guarantee systemic mold issues. Outside, the soil itself might hold a massive financial liability. Buried, rusting oil tanks left over from obsolete heating systems can quietly leak fuel into the surrounding ground, triggering mandatory and incredibly expensive soil remediation. Sinking your budget into marble countertops and high-end fixtures is a poor investment if the home's underlying circulatory, electrical, and structural systems remain hazardous or uninsurable. To safely navigate these hazards, the province implemented new protections. Under WorkSafeBC regulations introduced in 2024, only licensed contractors employing certified personnel are legally permitted to perform asbestos abatement work. Certified abatement crews utilize specialized P100 respirators, thorough wetting methods to keep fibers out of the air, and commercial-grade HEPA vacuums to capture microscopic debris that would pass straight through a standard shop vac filter. They also physically isolate the workspace. A compliant abatement zone is completely sealed in heavy plastic sheeting and hooked up to powerful exhaust fans. This creates negative air pressure, meaning air only flows into the containment area, ensuring zero contamination escapes into the rest of the house. On the administrative side, a safe renovation requires paperwork. Before lifting a hammer, a homeowner must secure the necessary municipal permits and ensure a formal notice of project is filed with WorkSafeBC. Because you can never see entirely behind the walls of an older property, you have to plan for the unknown. The primary financial rule of renovating is to hold a dedicated 15 to 25% contingency fund specifically to cover these inevitable structural surprises. Systematic hazard surveys, licensed abatement, and realistic contingency planning provide the technical and legal framework for a successful project. By following this sequence, a homeowner transforms a risky mid-century structure into a modern, resilient, and permanently safe home.